taking out student loans and getting in debt than any other college. Because I went to Ohio State, and I tell you, I went through my master's program free and got $1,200 a month to live on. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, if we don't start emulating from what we see and know out there on how they survived, then we won't survive. We ain't got to be like them. We ain't got to do like them, except we got to understand how does longevity take place.
Georgia State has the most diverse, they got Asian, Latino.
But that's what Georgia State is set up for. It's a state school, and they have to accept you if you came out of high school in the state of Georgia.
Everybody don't go there for the state of Georgia.
Well, no, but I understand that. We understand that. And I understand that. Because if you come out of the state of Georgia, you got to pay out-of-state fees. And why would you pay out-of-state fees to come to the state of Georgia? And trust me, until you see the disparity, you can go to Georgia State for $12,000, $13,000 a year. A private, if you're coming from out of state, you can pay $35,000 or $40,000 to go there. So why would you make that? I mean, why would you do that? Unless you just got an awful lot of money to do it.
They get grants and stuff to go to other schools.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is to you guys, what I'm saying is, I'm talking about maintaining some semblance of understanding, some pride, some visual things that you can identify with, relationships you can be happy about. But it goes back to what I started out saying. We do all this movement, going to church, going to work, satisfying everybody else's expectations and responsibility and needs. But what are we doing for ourselves? What are we doing for us? We will go and give a man 8 hours honest day's work and come home and want him to clean up our own house and take care of our neighborhood where we live. I'm just saying. And then when we want to get mad when people say, well, I see where you came from. I don't want you over here where I am. Because we are not being responsible. We're not taking care of what we believe, we say we believe. You say you believe something, then support it. If you say you want to do something, do it. And that's where we're faltering. The day of helping people is fast diminishing. You know, we're working with a bankrupt Social Security system. We're working with bankrupt social programs. And at some time, in some place in history, somebody will say, enough is enough. And do you understand what the Republicans are saying, guys? Less government involvement. If you live in the state of Georgia, let the state of Georgia take care of you. So what I'm saying is, Georgia's already said when it comes to health care, we can't afford to fund Medicare. Barack Obama's health care plan. We can't afford to have it in Georgia. So you got people in Georgia who can't get health care because the state is not supplementing what Barack Obama put in place. And why, you know, he said, well, why are my friends and everybody running to New York? Because they've accepted it. They get better benefits. But people, and, you know, and if I didn't live in Georgia, I wouldn't know this. But I've never seen such complacency from a southern state that's supposedly on the move upward. But it's not on the move upward for who? The people who don't have. And you know what? One of the things I learned in my business class early on, when you build a Federal Reserve Bank in the city, that means money going to be flowing through the city.
And you ain't getting a dime.
Right there on 10th and Peachtree Street, they have what? A Federal Reserve Bank. And money's flowing through Atlanta, Georgia like you would not believe. Or it would not be there. But who's getting the money? And where's the money being seen? Well, if you walk down Peachtree Street right now, there's 3 or 4 high-rises going up. Which means somebody's expecting somebody to live in those high-rises, right? They did their marketing, they come up with some strategy, we're going to fill this thing up.
And they ain't feel.
And we can charge what we want to charge, and guess what? There's a demand. 6 million people, there's a demand for it.
Okay.
But the people who are really doing all the work, living in the communities where all the stuff is taking place, where's that Reagan thing, the trickle-down theory? Well, they're trickling down too much. But the people at the bottom are saying, well, we can't fight that, we can't do nothing about that, we can't do anything.
But one thing I'm going to say too, James, keep in mind when you say about the Federal Reserve is a private central bank. It is not ran or owned by your government.
That's right.
It's private, central. It always has been. Every single one of them is private.
So who owns it then?
Not us.
The system itself.
Corporations.
And businesses own
No,
that.
the federal government doesn't have control. It's its own entity.
It surely is.
You know the federal government, you know the post office is not a federal government organization either.
No, it's not.
The post office is not federal. That's an independent company, regulated by the federal government, but it's not a government organization. Now you tell me how
A
that.
lot of folks think the Federal Reserve is a government entity, and it's because it says federal. It's not at all. It never has been since 1913.
So why did it make a difference in
Hold on.
anything?
You got something to say? Go
There's
ahead.
a big difference.
I just want to make light of that. Let's actually say that was its own entity, where the chair of the Fed, her name was Janet Yellen, she can make all the decisions she wants. Like how people blame President Obama for the things that happened.
Right.
She makes that call. He has no power over her.
He showed down.
She's not part of the cabinet. She's not part of the federal.
So she can do whatever she want to do then.
Alan Greenspan said that some years ago.
Yeah.
He said the president cannot govern what we do. They've been in existence since 1913. And think about this here. They've never been audited, not once. You see what I'm saying? And the U.S. Mint prints the money under their authorization.
Which is federal. That was it. So how does that operate? We talk about separation of church and state, but on your money, what does it say? In God we trust. So
But also in the corner it says, who's a dollar bill on there? I do. I got a dollar on me. I'm sure it says in the corner of it.
What's it say?
It says this note is legal intended for all debts, public and private. Which for all debts, public and private, is backed by nothing. This is actually backed by nothing.
Except the federal government.
That's it. It used to be backed by gold back in the day to the gold siege, which meant it took all the Americans' gold and put it in Fort Knox. And if they didn't do it, they went to jail for 5 years.
Not only that, but for those of us, I like to collect coins. If it says U.S., meaning the United States of America, they can call back those coins whenever they want to. Because they belong.
But you can take it back?
It's their money.
Yes, because the thing is like remember in the Bible it says deliver it to Caesar.
Caesar.
Caesar,
I mean,
God.
render.
Well, what's God? The gold that's in the ground or land, tree. God created things as gods. But if it's a piece of paper, like she just said, the government owns it.
And
And guess what, guys? This may sound crazy to you, but just because you work for that money don't mean it's yours.
It's not. The money's
Because
already
when the
on
IRS
somebody
can
else.
still go into your account, when the IRS can go in there and garnish your wages,
Oh, it's
the government can go in there and take what they want when they want it. It's not yours. You're borrowing that money to do what you need to do. Because whenever they want it back, like I just said, they can come after you.
But remember this part right here too, y'all want to know this too here. The dollar was this here used to be a receipt for the gold.
Yes,
You
sir.
took the gold to the bank and you got a receipt.
But it
This
was-
was a receipt. So
So
that means it was backed by gold then. And you used to say under the word dollar bill, redeemable in gold.
And it said that. Look at some old money. Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, that's
And guess what, guys? It's getting to a point where that's not even a receipt anymore. Because now we got plastic.
Sure do.
And it's awkward, you know, it's awkward when you go into a place and you know all these little retailers and people got little kids working there, and I respect that because they got jobs. They can't count money back to you. I stood in
Go to McDonald's.
Walmart and the girl, I gave her a $20 bill and she looking back and forth trying to figure out, I said $13 back. But I mean, I'm just saying, because they're not programmed. That's what it is. This is all inclusive in what I'm saying. They're programmed not to count or think about that.
That's right.
They get a machine that's going to tell them how much it's going to give them back.
Or more or less, if you swipe your card, there is no change.
There is no change.
There is no change. But people understand this too. Pretty soon, credit will be your money. This is going to be gone. You will not have this anymore. Everything going to be credit after a while.
And you won't even have to have a credit card because you walk in there. I just went and paid for something the other day, and the guy said, and I thought I wasn't being charged for it. He says, "You're taken care of." I said, "How do you know?" He said, "Well, we put your name in there, and we see that you have an account here, and we just go and bill it to that account."
Sure do.
And I said, where did you get that information from?
Really?
He said, well, you shopped at one of our stores over on Camel Road.
Really?
And so the computer has it on, I can pull it up over here.
Really?
That's right.
So every Firestone dealership can pull up my information.
There's a documentary right now on YouTube. It's called Freedom to Fascism. If you watch it, it was done by Aaron Russo. He's dead now. And he talks about that in the documentary, how they're able to look on the computer, tell you everything you've purchased from maybe a month or a week or so back, or maybe 6 months back, they just you purchased. You know what I'm saying?
Not with cash.
With your card. You see what I'm saying? Not with cash, true enough, but with your card they can, because your card leaves electronic trail. So therefore they can see all that you've done on there.
Okay,
You know what
it
I'm
starts right here, guys.
That's simple.
It starts right here.
But
Why do you need this card?
pretty soon you won't even need
Why do you need this card?
You won't need a card then if you.
No, I said, why do you need it?
They can track exactly what's occurring.
Why do you need this card?
That's a discount.
Because they told you that if you come in the store with this card, you get a discount.
Well,
But you're not getting a discount because they shifted the charge to some other product.
Okay,
What you normally would have paid for that project was shifted to some other product.
okay.
So you're not getting a discount. It's a tracking device, guys. Wake up. Stop acting dense and wake up to the idea that this is a tracking device.
Nobody asked no questions.
And I just got a new credit card in the mail, and guess what the lady told me to the store? Oh, you can't swipe. I'm swiping the card, and can't swipe it no more. I'm like, why? She said, there's a chip in there, you push it in now,
You put it in,
and
yeah.
you pull it out.
That's what
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then when I pushed it in, put it out, it said on there, and I asked her, I said, what is this for? It had on there when I shopped at that store last, the items I purchased.
right.
Yeah,
It's a tracking device.
yeah.
A tracking device.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Mark Bush has it.
Yeah, you tell you the last time you did the box.
But after a while, once they get rid of, they keep saying it, it's gonna happen. It's like a microchip. The RFD card. Yeah, with the RFD on your arm. But once they do that, you're not gonna need a credit
Well,
card. Everything gonna be on
In
there.
closing, I just want to say,
That's it.
in closing, I just want to say, my last visit to Grady Hospital, just recently, I discovered that when babies are born now, that option is put in front of them,
The chip
the
there.
microchip.
Barcode right in your form.
Now, you go over there, just like they ask you, they ask you, do you want your child, a boy child circumcised? They ask you, do you want a chip in your baby? And the chip is to identify if you lose your child or your child gets lost.
Yeah, but remember this, that chip is never coming out.
And you determine as the parent where you want that chip to go. Guys,
You're not saying that, they lied to you.
Oh, no, I don't trust that. Oh, black nasty. Black nasty, sure, I know.
They lied.
we're gonna shut down, but interns, JP's got something set up for you guys. So, y'all, let's go ahead and close down. Guys, and it's sad, I'm like, well, I hope y'all come back. I mean, just stop over and have a cup of water with us or something.
Some of y'all can stop.
Have boiling water with me, but on, Stephen.
Knock, knock, knock in my boots. Come in the
Sandra, you going to coach in progress to coach?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all things. Thank you for the Lord in our lives. Thank you for the coming together, the fellowship, the bonding that has taken place in this place. And we ask that you continue to bless every family that's here. Meet them at their appointed need. Speak to their hearts, and let them know that you are God all by yourself. You will find the best of what they have. That you manifest yourself within them. Bless the food that we're about to receive on the sanctified according to your word, purified. Bless the hands that can anything to do. Bless those that have and have not. You are providing all. Thank you for that. We just want to say thank you.
How much time we gonna need, Roger? How much time we gonna need, JB?
May I have everybody's attention? If we would, just if you would take your seats real quick, and we want the interns to remain standing. We just want to say again, we've had a lot of interns come through. Did somebody know how to turn the camera off? Dwayne, you know how to turn the camera off?
Dwayne, do you know how to turn the camera off?
He's gonna turn it off.
Okay. It's a red button on the top right, just push it.